Hello gamers, this is Tom Sidener, the Lonely Gamer, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about something serious in my life. And if you're struggling with this, I want to encourage you that you can make changes in your life to get through it as well. So, when I was in high school, I was very tiny. I weighed about, I think when I started high school I weighed 78 pounds, and when I graduated from high school I weighed 120 pounds. I was still weighed 120 pounds when I was 25 years old, and I got married to my wife. I became a computer programmer and eventually a teacher in the computer science area, and I lived a very sedentary life, played a lot of video games, played a lot of board games, and eventually I started to look like this. Several years later, I was diagnosed with diabetes. At first, I was just like, just give me medicine, just give me something so that I don't have to change my lifestyle. I didn't want to change. I didn't want to be any different. I loved eating donuts. Donuts were my favorite thing in the world to eat. I loved pizza. I loved all the things that you shouldn't eat when you're diabetic. So I took the medicine, and for about a year, my sugar levels were under control, but the medicine made me deathly ill. It nauseated me all the time, just random bouts of nausea, diarrhea, constant fighting the symptoms of the medicine. And I lived with those symptoms for about a year and a half, and then I said, forget it, I'm not taking this medicine anymore, and I stopped. I used the excuses, I couldn't afford the medicine, blah blah blah, but the real reason was it was just, I couldn't take it anymore. I went about a year, my sugar levels got really bad. I went to the doctor, and the doctor encouraged me to get back on the medicine. So I got back on the medicine, but when I got back on the medicine, it took more medicine to keep my sugar level under control. And the more medicine I took, the more it affected me, the more it messed up my stomach, and I got to the point where, I didn't want to even go to work. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't eat. I wasn't healthy. I was living a very unhealthy life. During this time period, my wife had got a check. She had got her tax return, and she said, I want to buy a bike. And I said, well, you can go get a bike if you want. I'll go with you. I'll go shopping for it with you, but I'm not riding a bike. I was like, it sounds terrible. So she did. We went all over town. We test rode bikes all over town, and she ended up buying a bike from a local bike shop here in Springfield, Illinois, where we live. And they had some used bikes, and I thought, well, I don't really think I'm going to get into this, but maybe I'll get a used bike, and then if she goes riding, sometimes I'll go with her. So, bought a used bike, and started riding my bike. I really liked it. It was fun, and before you know it, I was riding my bike more than my wife was riding her bike. I actually got really hooked on it, and I really enjoyed it. But one day I was riding my bike, and a couple dogs who were running around loose got a hold of me. One of them reached up and grabbed me and yanked me off the bike. I shattered my collarbone and ended up having to have surgery, and I actually have a metal bar now in place of my collarbone, and that set me back. So for the rest of that year I couldn't ride a bike, and I really didn't want to ride a bike. I was scared. I was very scared. And so the next year came around, and I was feeling terrible. I was back on my medicine. I was taking 2,000 milligrams of medicine every day. I was having trouble functioning. I would be good for an hour, and then I'd be down sick. I would go to work and I'd feel sick. I didn't want to go to work. I was afraid to eat when I was at work. It was bad. It got really bad. So about April, I said, that's it. I'm not taking this medicine anymore, and I'm going to do something to change this, because I couldn't just let the diabetes kill me, because I have this to live forward to, and this, and this. They depend on me. So I decided that I was going to get that bike and I was going to start riding it. Still afraid. I was still afraid those dogs were going to be there, or dogs or different dogs were going to be there. But I told myself, I'm just going to ride on the trails. I'm just going to stay safe and you know, keep it up. So I went out and I bought this brand new bike. I love it. And I started riding, and I went to the doctor, and I told the doctor, I'm not taking this medicine anymore. This stuff is killing me. It's making me sick. It's worse than the disease. So I stopped taking my medicine. I started riding my bike, and things started to change. I also stopped eating this. I stopped eating this, and I stopped eating this and this as well. I changed my diet. I added a lot of biking to my exercise, and I started dropping weight. So far this year I've lost 22 pounds. I feel great. I biked 700 miles in June. I'm not biking as many miles now. It's really kind of hot outside, so I'm not biking as many miles, but I'm still losing weight, and still things are going good. So I just want to let you know that those of you out there who have diabetes, who are living with it, who are suffering with the effects of the medication, you can make it better. Just hang in there. Find out what works for you. Find some exercise that works for you, that you enjoy. Try to get on a eating plan that, you know, controls your sugar. When I first started controlling my sugar with my diet, I ate things and then I checked my sugar. I checked my sugar 4 times a day, and anything that spiked my sugar, I started to adjust my diet. And I've actually got my diet adjusted now to where my sugar is controllable. My sugar averages 110 every time I check it. So that's really good. My last A1C was 5.9. And back in the winter, before I started biking and changed my diet, taking 2,000 milligrams of metformin a day, I could not get my sugars down below 170. So I just want to put this video out to encourage those of you who have this disease that you can change. You can change it. You can get rid of it. You can actually you can change your lifestyle. You can change your diet. You can get it to where you don't even have to worry about it. So if you have it, hang in there. Don't stop playing board games. This is Tom Sidener, the Lonely Gamer, and keep on gaming.